Hello, Huns. Welcome to today's episode. I'm going to try and be as nice as possible during this introduction, but we're forever winding each other up, so it is going to be a hard one. Today, we've got a person who has not only been an unreal friend to me personally and has been there when things have gone a bit, west, but he's pushed me, he's cheered me on from literally the very beginning, and just like he does with all his clients, he's one of the most motivated, inspiring people I know. And I'm buzzing to have him on just for a catch up, to be fair. He's an unreal online fitness coach, YouTuber, podcast, and he allows people to really rediscover their inner confidence every single day. Nathan Joseph, hello, you little scruff. How have you been?
Wow.
I
Wow.
know.
Can you clip that for me? Can you send that to me?
Absolutely not.
Jesus. That's
Mate,
put a smile on
honestly,
my face.
when I was typing that, I was like, this is weird.
It was flying nicely and easily for you though, innit? It was just come to your head straight away.
It
But yeah, I'm
did,
good.
but
I'm very good.
good. Happy
It
Valentine's Day,
did,
by the way.
yeah. What?
Happy Valentine's
That's
Day.
tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, for you. So,
Oh, it's Valentine's here,
first question is, have you got a date? Fill me in. We're catching up. Have you got a date for tomorrow?
yeah. No, I don't date. I don't date. But no,
You've
I
not
am
got a
seeing someone, yeah.
Valentine. You are?
Yeah. Yeah, I am seeing someone, yeah.
Who?
What are you What?
I just didn't expect a yes.
Well, with this one. I've kept my cards close to my chest, innit? Because I'm like, I always dive in head first.
Mm,
Well, I'd say I'm emotionally. People call me emotionally unavailable until you're like, if you're in my circle, I'm quite an emotional bloke. So
mm.
when I'm seeing someone, I'm all in, heart on my sleeve. Whereas this one, I do feel that way, but I just want to keep my cards close to my chest. So yeah,
Is that why
it's
you're not going back to Bali?
nah.
Oh.
Nah. So when I was in Bali, obviously I got a coach out there, and the
Mm,
plan was when the visa in Oz didn't come through, then I was going to come back home for Christmas because my mum had a bit of a hard year last year. So I was like, oh, I ain't spent Christmas with her for like 6 years, so I'll spend it with her, and then I'll go back to Bali. But then my
mm-hmm.
coach, he actually lives in Thailand, so then he went back to Thailand for Christmas, and then he was like, actually, Thailand is way better than Bali. So he stayed in Thailand, but probably going to go to Bali later in the year. But next month, I'm looking to go to either Thailand or Dubai to meet him. So yeah, that's
All right.
the uh, that's the plans. I can't believe you just started the pod with that and just literally you're getting 5 minutes of my time now.
Well, yeah, but you still like steering away from the actual question. So who, where, what?
Who, where, what, why, where, when?
Where'd you meet her? Who is she? How old is she? What school did she go to?
Well, you don't need to ask what she looks like because she's my normal type.
Blonde, big
Um,
ass.
yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly. You know what I like. um, but yeah, things are going really well. Things are
Good.
going really well. Like mad, yeah. But maybe I'll tell you names when we're not on your
Not on a
podcast. And obviously,
podcast.
this is probably going to get like a million views, and
Oh,
I
fuck
don't
off.
want to. No, like I'm cheering you on as I always do. I hope this literally blasts for you because, as I said to you when you asked me about the pod, I think you'd be amazing on one. So I hope it does get all the views and it will give a lot of people wisdom. Maybe not this episode because I'm here, but I'll try my best.
I don't like how nice we're being to each other. It's weird, but thank you.
You told you told me before I had to be nice to you.
No, I
You
fucking
said
didn't.
you said the only way I'm getting my money is if I'm nice.
Fuck off. Right. So I wanted to start with really, you left your 9 to 5. What was you doing recruitment? How long ago was that now?
I can go like yeah, I'll go back to recruitment. So that was January 2020. I started doing recruitment, and
Right.
I had my PT qualification already. Yeah. but I'd left PT in because I was like tired of people coming in, sweating their bollocks off for like an hour a week and then going home and eating 6 Big Macs and a fucking fish and chips on a Friday night.
Yeah.
And that they was getting no results. And obviously that's my business as well. So it's like, all right, you're getting beasted in a session, which ain't always the best way, but then you ain't doing everything around it. So I was like, this is shite. Plus I hated getting up well early for someone else. For me, I'll get up at 4:30 for me, but
Mm.
to be somewhere at a certain time for someone else, not a fucking chance. So I quit that, moved to Australia, got into recruitment, and then I think I was 3 weeks in to this job. And I just remember thinking to myself, like, that was my ticket to get sponsored and then
Yeah.
eventually PR in Oz. And 3 weeks in, I was like, well, I'm going to have to be here for 2 years until I can get my sponsorship. Or, sorry, a year till I can get my sponsorship. That would be 2 years and then get PR after that. And I think the longest I've ever held down a job in my life is maybe 18 months. So I was like, that's obviously not happening. So then I just started posting fitness content like end of Jan 2020. And then in the June, I went full time. June 2020. So
And what, like, how did you have where did you find the balls just to go full time, just like that? Because, like, I don't mean normal people, but most people would like wait, do you know what I mean? And not take that risk.
yeah.
But you sound like you just fucking like went for it. Like, what,
Yeah,
how did you find the
I think
balls
for
just to go for
me,
it? Was it COVID as
so
well? Would they COVID play a part in it?
yeah, massively. So
Or
I was posting or whatever, and I was getting quite a bit of traction among like friends or friends of friends, and I was like, this is actually all right, but I wasn't actually selling that much. I was just helping people, which at the time I was like, this is mint. Like I'm actually just helping people. I think money's obviously a byproduct, which obviously now has come to fruition, but then I was like proper enjoying just giving free advice, giving people plans, whatever. And then I remember I had a call with my mum and dad in maybe like the start of May. And I was like, I think I'm going to quit my job and just do this full time.
what did they say?
They was like, what are you talking about? My dad was like, why don't you get a job in marketing and then you're like got a sales background, then you can do a bit of marketing. But obviously this is middle of COVID and that. And then I
Yeah.
thought to myself, we was in lockdown and I was like, the company that is paying me doesn't know what I'm doing at home. So I can log fake calls for them whilst I just literally work on my business.
Mm.
So that's what I started doing. I think we went into lockdown in April. So for April and May, I started doing that a lot. And I think I was getting about 5 grand a month from the company. So I was like, this is a touch. Like I'm actually living my dream without even making my own money. Um, and then the end of May, I got a call from like the regional director of the company, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" I was like, "Oh, you're all right," blah 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 blah. And then basically, people that worked at the company had grassed me up, saying that they'd seen me posting loads of fitness content during work hours.
Oh my God.
Um, yeah, I know. So then I just got sacked, and then
Did you even try
in
and like
my
come up with an excuse, or was you just like,
no,
yeah,
fuck
I
that, fuck that. I was like, I've taken you for an absolute ride. Don't worry about that. Do you know what I mean? But I was like, fuck it. The only thing I didn't like is like the people that had like grassed me up. They'd been well snaky because I had a performance review like the week before, and
Mm.
in the performance review, I was well surprised. They was like, "Yeah, you're smashing it," like, and I was like, "Are you sure?" And they was like, "Yeah." I was like, "They was like, it's COVID. Don't worry about it." So I was like, "Mint." So I was like, "This is going to continue for a while," but I was already in the mindset like my head was out the door. And for me personally, I just believe like if you have a safety blanket there, you'll always fall back on it. So do you know what I mean? Whereas if you're in a position where you only have one option, you'll make
Yeah.
it work. Yeah. So like for me, even though I got sacked, like I remember someone in my team was like, "What are you going to do now? It's middle of COVID. You ain't going to be able to get a job. How are you going to get money? Blah 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 blah." I was like, "Mate, I'm going to see what this online coaching thing's about. Give it everything, and if it don't work, it don't work, and then bush. Here I am."
Why do you keep
Do
saying
you know what I
Bosch?
mean?
Where's it from?
Are you joking? You don't know Big John?
No.
He's like, he lives. He actually goes to my gym, legend. He's this big bloke and he just loves Chinese and he's become like an internet sensation. And he just says Bosh.
Oh
So
my
now everyone does it. So yeah, Bosh.
fucking
But,
hell.
yeah, sorry, you'll probably get a few more Boshes on this. So
Bosh, bosh, bosh. So
Bosh, Bosh, Bosh.
would you say that obviously you've grew your business now? I know you like moving on to business, like you said, we'll touch on that later, but with your online fitness, is it mostly women that you like your clients, would you say?
I would say I would target my a lot of my content towards women. Yeah,
Okay.
like I
Is
love.
that intentional? Did you feel that from the beginning or did you just fall into that?
I think I've always had like a really strong connection with women.
Here we
Like
go.
not in a, do you know what I mean? No, but like like my mum's my best mate.
Yeah.
Like I've always had such good girlfriends.
Yeah.
So maybe I understand like them a little bit better than most male PT. So I just think, you might be coming across these challenges. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, like with my clients, they're like my mates as well. So it's just like we're just like have a gossip or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like I just
Mm.
love that. And then I think men, they come to me more, they're like, oh, well, obviously you know how to do it, so I want to do that. But I'd say it's like maybe 60-40 to women.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
And
yeah,
what
yeah,
would you
yeah.
say the biggest thing you've learned from women coming to you in terms of like confidence, mindset, everything like that?
The biggest thing I've learned is it's probably something that I do which makes the biggest change in people's lives, I think, is if with my coaching, if I'm like if the women on my program are smashing it or whatever, I don't think people often compliment people or tell them that they're proud. Like the word
Yeah.
"I am proud of you" that don't
Mm.
come out of no one's mouth. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the response I get, especially from the women, like the men are a bit like what? Like not even my dad tells me they're proud of me. Do you know what I mean? But with the women, it's like they want to like get more of that. Yeah, they want
Yeah.
to, so they want to continue to make you proud. Like that's they're like, oh, I like that.
Why
Do
do
you
you
know what I
think
mean? It's
that
like a
is?
little. I don't want to say validation, but it also validation because
Yeah.
some people just love being told that they're doing well. They might know that they're doing well, but they don't see it in their own eyes. But if someone else tells them you are doing well or I am proud of you, then
Mm.
that's almost permission for them to say, oh yeah, shit, I'm actually proud of myself here.
Yeah.
Do you
Same,
know what I
like it's
mean?
the same with my clients. Like, I think a lot of people just don't hear it a lot. Like, because your friends don't like even really say it that much. Not like, well,
I've told you many a time I'm proud of you.
yeah, I know that. I mean, like certain groups of friends don't
No,
really
no, I know what
say
you
it.
mean,
Do you
innit?
know what I mean? So
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
especially clients who come to us, it's like they don't hear that often. So when they hear it, it is like a bit of a shock to the system. But then it's like, oh, hang on a minute. It opens their mind to being like, okay, can I fucking be proud of myself here, kind of thing.
yeah, 100%. And I think that what I've learned as well is like the directions that my clients go into when they're either working with me or after the program. Like I've had numerous clients like start up like businesses or
Mm,
Instagram pages that if you had told me that in a year's time when that client came to me they'd be doing that, I'd be like, although I can see it in them, you just don't see how someone can change that much in their belief systems in such a short period of time.
I
Do you know
know.
what I mean? And then that for me is like the ultimate like thing. If I see two like people just changing their entire lives or the way they think, or it's like not a I don't give a fuck attitude, but it's like a no, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want to do.
Yeah, giving
Because if I
less
can
fucks kind of
do
thing.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I think that's so important. So yeah, I love that. Love that.
Would you say that like so you're a fitness or online fitness coach, obviously. I know you're like moving on to other things, but would you say a big part of what you do as well is mindset coaching anyway? Because you just said you see these other transformations that aren't just about the way you look. And the reason why I
Yeah.
ask is because, and why I wanted to talk about, like, obviously I wanted to talk about women because I'm a women's coach, but
Yeah, of course.
fitness is what I'd say in some kind of weird way started the change of my mindset, because I did. Do you remember Ryan did his thing like when Ryan first
Yeah, yeah,
started? Like I did his
yeah,
free, the very first thing he ever did. I did it, and I was like,
yeah.
I'd go to I think I used to go to the gym like once every fucking month, or not even at all.
That's
And
mental.
I
Even me
know,
hearing that from you, you know
I
what I mean?
know, I know, and I started this
Not
thing,
because it's mental, but like just like how you are now. Like it's just
yeah,
like part of your identity now. Do you know what I mean?
literally. And the thing that changed that for me was starting on this thing with Ryan. And obviously, because it was free, he got like, let's say he got 5 people. A lot of them didn't take it seriously because it was just so that he didn't see a lot of transformations. But I was like, nah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take advantage of this. Like, and I went, I fucking smashed
Proper
it.
Northern, and yeah.
But yeah, it's free. I'm taking advantage of it. Fuck off. And I went and like I put my all into it. But the only thing was, when I look back now, I was probably like fitness wise the best shape I've ever been in. But like when I did that
Mm,
12-week thing with him. However, when I look back, I was probably the most insecure on the inside. Even though I looked amazing on the outside, I was the most insecure on the inside, which is why I wanted to kind of touch on, yeah, you help people with fitness, but do you think a
mm,
big part of what you do? Because I think it's important to know that when you get a fitness coach and everything, make sure you're choosing one that is gonna
yeah,
allow you to work on
definitely.
your inside out as well.
I think that a lot of people in my industry are just self-obsessed dickheads, to be honest, and they just care about what they look like. Like
Mm.
they will literally bang chicken and
And I'm
broccoli
not
out of
saying, by the
passive
way,
containers all
Ryan
day.
was like that. I'm not saying Ryan was like
No,
that
I know.
at
Yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
I know
yeah.
that. I know that. But for me, I obviously it's my job to change bodies. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe I'm just too lazy to go back to uni to study and become a psychologist. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
but for me, I am in this to change people's minds, like the way they think about themselves. Because the reason I started this up is obviously I had my battles with mental health, and then I set out a program just for me. Yeah.
Okay.
And the reason why it's called Built in 100 is because it was a 100-day program to like change my physical health and my mental health. Yeah. And at the end of it, I was like, what the fuck? Like, I couldn't believe how much better I felt. But I never, even then, I just didn't have the business now. So I didn't think, oh, this is going to be a business.
Yeah.
Like, that was years back. Yeah. Well, yeah, about 4 or 5 years ago now. I can't really remember the maths. But, um, and then when I started doing like posting the content in 2020, I was like, nah, like my thing is like mental health. Like, I want to, if I could take someone from where I was with my mental health and make them feel anywhere close to where I am now, I'd happily die tomorrow and just be like, yeah, cool, my job here is done. Do you know what I mean?
Same.
Like
Same. Oh,
genuine, like that's honestly how I feel. Like I just think just to change how someone's, because a lot of things like when I was going through my battles with mental health, like I've always had a decent figure, like I've always gone gym or whatever. I used to hate
yeah.
going to the gym, but I was like, I want to do this to improve my body. Whereas now I just train like, oh, I feel a bit shit, oh, I'll go
With you,
train.
yeah,
Oh,
team mind.
yeah, exactly. Or I don't want to feel shit, so I'll go and train. Like that'll be it. So it just literally gives me like a little buzz in the day.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, I just wanted to honestly just give that to as many people as humanly possible now, because when you see, I could look at myself in the mirror when I was battling and I would be there, no, it's not a brag, with a 6 pack, but ultimately I wanted to kill myself then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas now, obviously, I would say I was probably in better shape then, but looking at myself in the mirror now, I'm like, yeah, cool, I like what I see. And that's just the eyes that I'm seeing them
It's
through.
mad,
So
isn't
it's in
it?
my head.
I
Yeah,
was
it
exactly the
is.
same.
It is.
I was exactly the same, and I want to touch on like your mental health and stuff in a minute, but I was exactly the same. Like, and the thing is though, I did realize, but I didn't. Now I am so aware of how just unhappy I was, but like surface area, I was happy. But when I look back, I wasn't really happy. Do you know what I
But I
mean?
think, yeah, 100%, because I've been there as well. Like, I remember probably the best shape I've ever been in my life was I went on a lad's holiday, and one of my mates, honestly, carved out of stone, beautiful man. He was on this holiday. I was thinking, Jesus Christ. And this is before I knew a lot about fitness. Like, the size of me. I was eating 100 grams of carbs a day, which equated to, I think I had like 4 rice cakes and maybe a banana. I'd count out 20 almonds to eat a day, and then the
Was you
rest
like
would
the
be
fish
like,
and the rice cake guy? Fish and
yeah,
the rice
promise
cake.
you, literally, like fish and a rice cake. And then I had fish and another rice cake. Honestly, I was. And I hated going to the gym because I had no energy. And it was just this thing where I just wanted to look the best. Like, I remember
Yeah.
being on a beach in Barcelona. The group that I went with were all in decent nick, all their abs out, and I remember thinking to myself, "Oh shit, do I look fat?" Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas that just tells me that I was doing the training. I wasn't doing it for me. I was
Yeah,
doing
you
it
was doing
for
it.
how other
Yeah.
people saw me. Yeah.
Same.
Whereas
Same.
now I just train for my head. And then when you train for your head, you're just like buzzing. Like, you might hit a PB, or you might just be like, oh, I can't be asked to train today. And then you overcome that. And then you're like, fucking buzzing. What else can't I do? Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I think that's why a lot of people say they don't like exercise, because they're looking for the physical benefits straight away, which is never going to happen. But if
No.
you look at the mental benefits you get from training, yeah, like whether it is doing something you don't want to do or turning up with discipline, consistency, whatever, if you focus on that and those results, then that will take you close to the changes in your body, like without a doubt. So that's what I try and instill in my clients. Like, we're going to look after your head by training, and
And I
then we'll
think
see where you come out the other side.
when you're only doing it to look a certain way, when you look a certain way, you're always like you don't appreciate it anyway, because on the
No
inside
way.
you're still like striving for that happiness or striving for that
No way.
confidence.
No matter how good you look, you're always going to think that person looks better than me, or
Yeah.
this part of me doesn't, because you're so focused on all of your body, yeah, where you'll never be happy with it. So
Mm.
in that moment, and then you'll look back at a picture on your phone. I've done this loads of times, and I'll be like, "Shit, I was in such good nick then," but I remember how I felt at the time of the
Yeah.
picture.
Same.
Yeah, and then I'm like, that's like, it's mental. So yeah, all these people that want to get, especially in Australia, that want to like be beach ready and all that bollocks, just sort your head out first. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'll do that for you. There's a little plug.
Fuck's sake. Right. So yeah, wanted to touch on, your mental health, and because I've actually not heard much about it, to be honest. So was it that
Obviously, you
you
don't
were
listen to my podcast.
that
Second
you
plug.
second plug? You're right, not bad. Um, you making me lose track, you little turd. Right.
My
So
mental health.
yeah, how did that lead to the business? And also, you mentioned like how it was really bad. And did you say that you used to kind of look in her and just feel like you want to kill yourself and things like that? What do you think caused, like, I know there's not always a cause, but what do you think kind of got you to that place, and how did you get out of it?
Yeah. So I didn't actually realize. So I'll start in the middle and then I'll go back and I'll jump about a bit, because that's
Okay.
the only way it's going to work. So I went to counselling, which, if anyone's struggling with their mental health, I'd 100% recommend. But I'll touch on why counselling doesn't work for some people as well. But
Counseling or therapy did you go to?
CBT,
Oh, right. Okay.
cognitive behavioral therapy, yeah,
Hmm.
unreal. Um, anyway, when I went to counselling or therapy, it made it very, very clear to me that I am just somebody that has these tendencies to get into like depressive states. And
Okay.
I've actually got a tattoo on my leg for the 4 times that I know that I've been very depressed. Yeah. Um, so then I'll go back to the beginning. So I moved home from uni. I'm an
Mm-hmm.
only child. My mum was my best mate, but when I always clashed with my dad. Yeah,
Yeah.
always clashed with my dad. And when I came back from uni, because my mum had spent all that time with just my dad, yeah, it was very much, this is our house, our rules. If you don't like it, fuck off.
Mm.
Yeah, which I'm making my parents sound bad. They're absolutely amazing people, and I'm very grateful that they did everything they did, because if I didn't want to commit suicide, I wouldn't be here now. So it not be here now, but like be in
Yeah.
a position I'm in now. Yeah. So then over the years, this just built up. So maybe finished uni 21, 22 to 22, 23, 24. I was just like constantly stressed all the time. I'd have anxiety when I was at home, but I didn't know it was anxiety. I was just like, I just don't want to be in this house. Like, how can I get out? Blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Then I also was in jobs. I'd honestly go to work every single day in London, and I'd sit down at my desk and I'd be like, fuck's sake, I'm here again. Like, what is my life? This, I am meant to be more than this fucking desk. That's what I'd say to
Yeah.
myself. I am more than this fucking desk. But at the same time, I was doing nothing at all to change my situation. I just thought one day something's going to fall in my lap, and then
Was that making you feel trapped? Like
hundred
not
percent,
taking the
100%.
action, but not like being where you
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah. It
be.
was like I knew what I aspired to be. Like, I remember when I was in like business studies class in maybe like year 9 or 10. Um, I remember turning around to my class and I was like, I'm going to be a millionaire. And everyone laughed at me. Everyone laughed at me. They was like, what do you mean you're going to be a millionaire? No, you're not. And I was like, watch me. So I've always been like, knew I was going to have my own business or whatever.
Mm.
Like, I just knew it. But I was just turning up to a job that couldn't be further away from my core values, which is like freedom,
Yeah.
creativity. It was just literally turning up to sell something. And what used to piss me off about my sales job is I worked in like cyber security sales. So it's like you had to be a little bit intelligent, believe it or not, to sell this shit. And you had to learn all the like services and stuff. And I was like, I'm filling my brain with all this shit that I don't care about to sell to someone. And I've got to try and pretend to be passionate about this, which I don't care about, to make money for a job that I hate. Like, I've never been promotions. Like, my manager would talk to me and be like, oh, if you work really hard till this time, you can get a promotion. And I'd be like, I don't give a fuck about a promotion. Why would I want to get paid more money to take more responsibility in a job that I hate? Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was just in this cycle, hated my job, hated my home life. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at the time I had a missus and we'd booked to go to Australia. This is like 2017.
Okay.
And at the time I thought she was the love of my life. Now, thank fuck we didn't stay together. That's not saying she's a bad person. It's just like we're just my life
Opposite.
wouldn't have gone in the direction
Yeah.
it has. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anyway, we broke up, and I was like, "Sod it, I'm still going to go on this trip to Australia." But that was almost, you know what I'm like. I'm a bit of a fuck you kind of person. Do you know what I mean? So it was
Yeah.
like almost at that time, it was like, "Well, fuck you. If you ain't going, I'm fucking going." So I was like, I went to Australia on my own, and that in 2017, like that showed me I can actually do shit on my own. Do you know what I mean? Like, I literally
And
just
would you say that you were still battling with your mental health when you went to Australia at that point?
at this point I didn't even know. I knew that I just thought I was stressed and anxious, or like not even
Right. Right.
anxious.
Okay.
I didn't even know what anxious was. I just
Right.
thought I was stressed all the time. So then I do this trip in Australia, and then whilst I'm doing this trip, obviously I'm meeting people, whatever. And then on a trip, I bumped into like a few people, and they was like, "Do you know what? You should go on reality TV or something, right?" So then I was like, "Okay, cool." So then when I came back, the day I landed was my birthday,
Mm.
and then I applied to go on Love Island.
I
Yeah,
was actually
got the
gonna
call
say,
back.
did that like was your mental health like after or before that? So it was after. So it was after.
It was before, but I didn't know till after.
Right. Right. Get yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I applied to go on Love Island. obviously got through to the final round where there's a psych test. And then the woman said to me in the psych test, um,
The
do
what
you have any
test?
issues with
Sight.
mental psych? Yeah, to see if
Oh,
you're like
psych
at risk to
test.
go
I
in
thought you
there.
was like
Yeah,
sight
yeah,
as
yeah.
in seeing. Go on, right, no, psych. Sorry.
Jesus Christ.
Go on.
So then she said to me, like, have you ever battled with your mental health? And my response was, anyone that says they battle with their mental health is an attention seeker. Yeah, that was honestly my view then. Yeah, I was just like, it don't exist. People just need to man up and get on with it. That was me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good that you
Then
admit that though. It's good that you admit that now.
100%, 100%. Because I think there'll be a lot of people still probably in that
Yeah.
headspace where they think, no, it's a load of bollocks. But um, come out of there after my 10 seconds. um, come out of there and then set up a business, which was like Uber for personal trainers. Yeah. But so before I went into Love Island, yeah, I
Mm,
said, no matter what happens, no matter how long I'm in there, I'm quitting my job and I'm
right.
going to do something for me. Yeah.
Right.
Because almost the trip to Australia was like, oh, fuck it, you can do whatever. Yeah. Life short, blah, blah, blah. So stupidly, I just said to like, I got a call on the Friday, you need to fly to Spain on the Tuesday. Yeah.
Bloody
So I was
hell,
like,
that
cool.
quick.
Yeah. And I was literally got off that call, went over to my manager. I was like, can I have a word with you? And she went, what? I went, this is going to be my last day and I can't tell you why. And she went, you're going on Love Island, aren't you? And I was like, no. And I
No.
was, she, and then she basically said to me, she was like, this is another thing that changed my mindset massively because every day I was going to work, I was like, I'm doing fuck all, I'm going to get the sack. And in that meeting, she said to me, how much do you want to stay? So then that really made me think like, I'm obviously really undervaluing myself
Yeah.
in life. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So anyway, set up this business, but it was very important in my life because it made me realize like I expected to set up this business in I think it was the August, and then by the following August, I genuinely thought I was going to be a millionaire. Like I was like, this idea is sick,
I mean, that's good
whatever.
though. It's good to have that mindset though, but obviously,
Yeah, but also I'd sort of given myself a year to just be caked, right?
right, okay.
So then, but what I didn't realize was there's so many moving parts with like creating your own app. Like you have to design it, then it has to be developed, then there's like beta programs, whatever.
Mm,
So it didn't even get released until like, I don't know, I think it's like the following June or July. Yeah. So I'd spent a year like basically earning no money, which then made me start PTing. Yeah.
right.
Because someone I knew was like, oh, you can do this PT certificate, come work with us and do a bit of marketing. I was like, yeah, cool, I'll do that part time. So going into, I'd been doing that app for 6 months, I think, and then it got to like the January or February of, I can't even remember the years, but I remember I was driving to PTing and I drove past the bus, and I think sometimes people do get impulsive things where they're like, "Oh, let me just
Yeah.
in front of a bus." Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, "Oh, that's one of them." So I was like, "Oh, why don't I just drive in front of that bus?" But then when
And
I didn't,
at that point, what did you think it was just one of them like impulsive thought, like intrusive thoughts, or
yeah.
was it? Did you realize that oh shit, I'm actually scaring myself here? Like I think I like.
So
I,
when I did, I just got on about my day. But then later in the day, I realised the only thought that went through my head, the reason not to do it was because I would injure the people on the bus.
right.
Yeah. So that
Mm.
that showed me that I had absolutely no care about my health whatsoever, which was a bit like, oh shit, like that's not a good thing. And then as the year went on, it was like it would be like once a month I'd have like thoughts, suicidal thoughts, and then it would get like more condensed, like every 3 weeks, one every 2 weeks, one every week. Do you know what I mean? And then like it would build up, and I was like, fuck. Um, and I was dealing with like the stresses of life, still setting up a business, still not getting on with my home life or whatever. Um, and then it just got to a point where I was like, fuck, I can't. I was at that time, I think, because of the type of person I am, that's never changed. But at that time, I was just like, I can't. I knew I didn't want to die, but I just knew that I couldn't live with my head the way it was. Like I would
Yeah.
literally go to bed at night and I would like cry and pray that I died in my sleep, so then it would be easier for my family because then I wouldn't have to take my own life. That's
Yeah.
like, do you know what I mean? And then
Mm.
it got to a point where I moved out of my mum and dad's, moved into my grandma's, and then she went out one day, and then I was honestly fine for maybe a month, like didn't have any thoughts, nothing, and then just literally just overcome with the way I describe it is like there's an angel and a devil on each shoulder, but every time I'd get a suicidal thought, like the devil would get more power, more power.
Mm.
And then on this day, it was literally like there was nothing I could do to stop. Like I knew exactly what I was going to do, whatever. Like, and I felt absolutely powerless. Like I was crying my eyes out because I knew that I was going to go and kill myself. And then the only thought I had was there was one person that I knew that had battled with their mental health, and that was one of my best mates' ex-girlfriends. So I'm having this like breakdown and I'm
Mm.
thinking, shit, what am I going to do? But then I was also like, well, can I message my mate's
Ex.
ex-girlfriend? But then I was like, fuck it, I'll literally do anything. Spoke to her. And obviously, the worst thing for me when I was in that headspace was I just thought I was alone. I thought I was just like the only person like
That
that
felt
had
that
these.
way. Yeah.
Yeah. And then literally after like 2 minutes on the chat, she was like, oh, yeah, like I've felt like that before or whatever. And I was like, oh my God,
Brings you back down to earth, doesn't it? Like when you, because you get in it,
100%.
you feel trapped, like, and then it's like no one has ever felt like this ever. And as soon as you
Yeah.
hear that, it's like, oh, okay, hang on a minute, I'm
Yeah.
back on, like,
So,
back.
and then she recommended me to go see the counselor
Mm-hmm.
or therapist. And then from that point, I just sort of said to myself, I will never go back there. And honestly, that's the best thing that's ever happened to me. I am so glad that I wanted to kill myself.
Yeah, I say that about when like I was just in the worst. It didn't get.
Mm,
I think I've had those thoughts then, like when 2000, when was it, 21, but not that intensely. But it was getting to the
mm,
point where it was going that way, kind of thing.
mm.
But I always say now, because we wouldn't be sat here doing this if both of us didn't go through that.
100%. And also, I think to myself, with that, there's never ever going to be anything in my life I come across that's harder
Than that.
than battling with my own head, unless I
Mm,
was to lose a child. Yeah.
yeah.
Like I genuinely, like there's nothing. So in my head now, if I can overcome my own head, what the fuck can I not do? Like that's just honestly maybe why you say most normal people wouldn't just be like, fuck this job, I'm going to start this. Like I
Yeah.
just think, fuck it. If I can do that, why can't I do that? That's like where a lot of my fuck it
Comes
mentality
from.
comes from, I think. Do you know what I mean? Like genuine.
And you said the CBT saved you. What else do you think saved you? Do you think it was obviously the gym and creating this program for yourself?
With the gym, that was just by chance, I think,
Oh, right, okay.
because I just realized every time I trained, nothing was going on in my head.
Mm,
So then that made me then train more because I was like, shit, okay. But it's not like, oh, one day I decided to change. Like I remember I probably lived in fear for maybe my first 18 months in Australia that I would
go back to that
one day
place.
like
Yeah.
the voice would return. Like I weren't sure if like it was just like, oh, it's something that I live with now, and at any time it can show its face. But I just think since the point of saying yes to counselling, like I've been obsessed with like self-development books, meditating, journaling, gratitude lists, like any like hippie mental health thing that you can do. Like honestly, because if you used to say this to me like when I was 25, I'll be like, fuck off. But
Yeah.
now anything to do with mental health, I'll even sit there with like crystals in my hands or whatever. Like I done some crystal healing when I was in Bali. I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
sod it.
remember you saying.
It was shy, but I was like, fuck it. We'll see.
Why?
We'll
Why
see
was
what.
it shy? Did you not get into
I
it? Did
think
you give it a chance?
she charged me $100, sat me down on a massage bed, turned this lamp on with 7 crystals on, and fucked off for 40 minutes. Come back in and said, "How'd you feel?" So I was like,
What?
robbed. That's how I feel. Fucking robbed.
Or did you not sit there and meditate, or did you just sit there looking around the room?
Yeah, obviously, like I was in a deep meditative state. Um, and that was mint. That was mint. But obviously, how often do you just sit in a room for an hour and not do anything? Do you know what I mean? So I would have got there on my own anyway. I didn't
Yeah.
need her to flick on these light crystals that done nothing. She's like, oh yeah, well you would have felt like energy here and there, and I was like, you're just chatting shit. Maybe your crystals are broken. But if you like
Oh.
crystal healing, like good for you. Like I would actually try it again because it might be dodgy crystals. But if it's twice, then obviously no, I'm not going to do it again. But do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's what I'll say.
So it sounds like a lot of things saved you then, though. Like putting those practices in place,
100%.
and it
But
wasn't a like you say, it was over
no
a.
way, no way.
And did
And
you
I think
trust the
as well,
process, even though you was like scared, like you said, on edge, like, not on edge, but a bit worried in fear? Was you trusting the process or not really?
I always just think like if someone could, if some at the time, yeah, where I was really struggling with my mental health, if someone said to me, "You're going to have to pay £10,000 right now, and you're going to feel shit for the next 4 years, but after that, you'll be sweet," I would have
Mm,
bit their hand off. Do you know what I mean? So at that time, it really wasn't. I didn't care about how long it
yeah.
took me to get better. I was just like, okay, I actually feel less shit more often, which is
Hmm.
good. So let's keep doing this. Let's keep doing this. And now, like I'm a freak. I'll journal twice a day, gratitude list every day, affirmations every day, meditate every day, self development every day. Like I just am obsessed with it because I just think, why would you not be proactive? And then like, how can you complain about your mental health if you're doing nothing to? Do
Exactly.
you know what I mean? And it comes from you as well. Like I know people that go counselling or whatever, and I'm like, well, that's a fucking waste of time for you because you're not willing to do the work. You just think I'm going to go to a counselor and they're going to sort me out.
Fix my
No, you have to
problems.
be
Yeah.
receptive. Yeah, you have to be like, okay, maybe I am a little bit not fucked, but there's problems with me that I want to change. Otherwise, I'm going to stay in this position. And maybe some people are too proud or just too blind to see that side. So then that's the people I think that come away from counselling like, what a load of bollocks.
What would you say
You
to
have to be willing to
people?
change.
What would you say to people who are waiting or not waiting, who think that they need to wait till they've hit rock bottom to start to work on themselves? Because I think that's like a huge thing at the moment. People won't start working on themselves until they start to feel shit, where
Yeah,
this stuff
yeah.
can be done at, like, there's always ways to expand, to grow, but people don't see that. They just think, I'll wait till I feel shit and then I'll start.
Yeah, yeah. I think that unfortunately, I had to do that. I weren't
Mm,
going to change unless I was ready to change. Yeah.
yeah.
So I think people are always going to be like that. But an analogy I love is like, let's say you wander 5 miles into a woods. Yeah. Well, the only way to get out is you're going to have to wander 5 miles back.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you keep going deeper when
So,
you could just go
yeah.
maybe a mile in, then you can come straight back out? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And now, for me, definitely, like I'm get putting as much distance between the woods as I can. Like, just be proactive. I don't know why, like, your health, if you think about it, yeah, when you have a cold, how much does that piss you off because you can't breathe properly, yeah? Because your
Yeah.
health is impacted so much. So why would you, if that's such an inconvenience to you, why would you not look after some, like, your health is the most important thing in life. Without your health, you have nothing. So
I think it's because
just
people are
fucking,
comfortable where they are. Yes, they might not like it and they're always complaining about it, but they're used to complaining. They're used to the way they
mm,
feel. So they're comfortable
yeah,
the way they are. And it's actually they think it's harder to actually make those changes. So they just get
yeah.
comfortable
And
in
also
feeling shit.
it's your surroundings as well.
Mm,
You're going to think it's a lot more normal to feel shit if you're in a group of people that go out every weekend, get on the bags,
mm,
feel hungover for like 3 days a week, and then you have 2 days recovery, and then boom, you're back on it again. Of course, you're gonna feel comfortable being shit because everyone around you is doing the same thing. So you're gonna think,
yeah.
oh, well, this is normal life. Like, everyone feels shit. Yay. No, I'm not saying that. Obviously, drugs are bad, but
Drugs are bad. Don't do them.
drugs are bad. Disclaimer. But I'm not saying booze are bad, but like, how can you've just got to be aware of, like, I just don't know. I think a lot of people are just, they just accept their lot, whereas I think, what a waste.
Yeah.
Like, life can be so much bigger if you just think a little bit differently. And I mean, I thought that way for 25 years, where I was just like, oh, this is what I just have to do. Do you know what I mean? Where
Yeah.
I think that's a load of bollocks now.
Yeah, same. We went to this event the other day, a David Goggins event, and this other speaker was like, and I loved it. It was like, create a life by design, not by default. And I was like, oh my God, I love that.
Stealing it.
Stay lit. Your dad. I really wanted to touch on this because
Yeah, go on.
I also have daddy issues.
Yeah, yeah.
So what, first of all, like, how is that now? First of all, I want to ask how you are with that now. And how did you move through that difficult relationship? Because I have a lot of clients who have obviously really tough relationships with their parents. My relationship with my dad wasn't always the greatest. So I'm just wondering how you found the strength to move through that, and what was it like?
So at the minute, we're not talking
Right.
at all,
Okay.
which is, for me, what I found. I will, I will never say that my dad is the reason for my issues with mental health. My dad's an amazing man. Like, he's
Yeah.
an amazing man. He just is fucking shit at communicating.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the reason why we're not talking at the moment is because he doesn't know how to communicate. So he gave me the silent, like, we was having not rows, but it was just like you could feel the tension building. Um, and he gave me the silent treatment for like 3 days because he wanted me to do something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was always going to do what he wanted me to do, but I'm a 31-year-old man. Um, I was like, obviously, I'm going to do it. Like, it was basically, my grandma was going on holiday, yeah, and this was just before I went to Bali. But
Mm.
so I was like, oh, I could be flying any day to Australia. Um, so he was like, "You're not going to see your grandma before you go away," and then he gave me 3 days silent treatment. Newsflash: I fucking work, yeah. So I'd planned to see my grandma, but I just couldn't because with work and whatever. And then as soon as I saw my grandma, I went home, and she'd obviously told him that I'd been round, and then he's like just talking to me like normal. And that was like the last time in my life I was like, fuck this, no way, this is not continuing. Because every time he goes back to normal, and then I'm like, oh, right, that's fine
Yeah.
again, cool. That just facilitates his behavior. So now I'm like, no, fuck you, I can't be asked.
And have you
Not in a
spoke to
way it's like,
him? Have you spoke to him about the way he actually makes you feel?
before I came to Australia, I did. I
Right.
told him how I felt about the first 27 years of my life and the relationship I had with him. And I
Mm.
said, in 27 years, you will, you're going to be close to death. So it's
Yeah.
up to you whatever way this relationship goes. But I am very like, look, at the end of the day, there's people that don't have dads. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm acceptant. I don't think my dad's a bad man. I think he's got incredible qualities that he's put into me. But a frustration of mine is a lot of things I think that I've had to unlearn is because he's too proud to look into himself and unlearn them for himself. But obviously, we're in a generation now where like mental health ain't as much as a taboo. So
Mm.
it's the best way for I wouldn't say to anyone like, oh, cut them out, but I think I'm quite good at if someone pisses me off, you know what I'm like. Like it's just like, all right, that's strike
Bye.
one. Yeah, true. But do you know what I mean? Like 3 strikes, you're gone. Like I don't actually care. So um yeah, I think for me, that's the way that I like to manage it because I don't then have to deal with him giving me the silent treatment and me feeling like a bag of shit or
Yeah.
me not feeling like I'm good enough. Yeah. So I'd rather manage the situation. If I see him, if I bump into him, oh, you're right. And that'll be that. Like, I don't feel the need to share. But what's weird, I'd say, about my dad is for some weird reason, I wanted to make him proud for the longest time. Yeah. There was just that burning desire.
Yeah.
I've achieved nothing until you're proud. And I'd done like launched an app on the App Store at 26. He was like, whatever. I had a job whilst I was doing my dissertation at uni in London. And he was like, you only got that because your mate works there. Like, I just lived to make my dad proud. And then now I think, no, fucking, I don't need to prove you wrong. I'll just prove me right and make me proud. And then I'll dick swing on you when I've fucking hit the top. Do you know what I mean? That's my mentality now. Like it's like cool. Like I don't really care if you think that I'm a dickhead or if you're proud of me. If you whatever you think of me, I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do.
See,
But
I think
again,
it can.
go on.
Sorry, go on. Go on.
I would, although he's the way that he is, I would never be where I am without him.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
it can go either like one or two ways. So like you've got like people who have parents who are overly like you can never meet their expectations kind of thing. Or
Mm.
you've got the opposite end of the scale where they just literally seem like they don't give a flying fuck at all. They don't have any
Yeah. Yeah.
expectation. So
Yeah.
you've got too much
Yeah. Yeah.
expectation or zero expectation. And I think
Yeah.
either way, it has such an effect on your life because either way, it results in you not feeling enough. But I
Yeah.
think the most important thing to like, for anyone who's listening who is going through like shit with like a mum or a dad is know that like you don't have to, you are allowed to set boundaries with them. And even though they're your
100%.
parents, you don't have to like have them in your life all the time. Like I've come
100%.
to the, sorry, go on.
For me, like the biggest thing and the biggest realization with my dad is, all right, you have the title of dad, and I am your son, but you are a fucking human, and I am a fucking human.
Mm,
And if another human was to treat me in the same way that you did, yeah, do you
exactly.
think they would be fucking in my life? No. So why do you think you have the privilege of that? Do you know what I mean? You ain't you're the label of dad does not mean that you can say whatever the fuck you want to me, treat me however the fuck you want. No.
And it's
And
just, it's accepting that you can't change people, even though you love them and they're your
exactly,
dad or your mom, like
exactly,
you cannot
exactly.
change people. Like that is the
And
end
it
of it.
100%. And I think that that's where so many people get caught up in these situations with their like families is they try and change the person, and when they can't, they get more pissed off. Whereas I
Yeah.
just think
And
I
it's
ain't
like,
ever going to
oh,
change him.
he
I
should be
can
like
change
this
myself.
because he's my dad. He should be
Yeah,
like this because he's my dad. But
but
he's
no.
not.
Do you know
He's
what I
not.
mean?
That's it. He's not. Like, and
This
I've
ain't
come to
Disney. This is not Disney. Do
that.
you know what I mean? It's the real world. So
Yeah. I think
unfortunately, like, do you know what I mean? Saddam Hussein's fucking someone's dad. Hitler's someone's dad. Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? It could be a lot worse. So just deal with it. Like for me, it's like cool. You're
I think it's
you're literally like,
acceptance. As soon as you
yeah,
accept that, it's like as soon as I started to be fair, as soon as I accepted it, our relationship actually got better. It's not fucking rainbows and sunshines and shit. It'll never will
yeah,
be.
yeah,
But I've
yeah.
accepted it never will be. And I don't have any
Well,
resentment anymore, like
I
at
think
all.
it's that shift in it. Like when you accept, then things do get better. But when you expect, then that's when
Mm,
things just literally just fucking go
literally.
down. Because if you're constantly expecting something else, you're fucked.
Yeah. It's just like vicious cycle. Like you said, for you, it's like he'd give you the silent treatment, and then as soon as he'd start speaking to you again, you'd like inside, you'd be buzzing. But then you, like you
Yeah,
said, you
I'd be like,
notice
yeah,
you like,
mint,
I'm not fucking going through this again. Cause then you get excited,
isn't
you're
it?
like,
And I was
okay, we're
just like,
talking again now. But yeah,
yeah. And also, I just think, how have you not learned in 59 years that that ain't a normal way to treat someone? Do you know what I mean?
mm,
Like,
but again, it's just
so
like
yeah, that's
can't change it, can you?
yeah, exactly. We are where we are. So it is what it is.
So you've helped me obviously give less fucks in the past. I
Mm.
remember when like all that shit was happening, and I wrote that one blog post, and you popped up and you was like, oh my god, you've got to fucking do something with this, like you're an incredible writer, blah blah blah. Set up the Instagram. I remember when you told me to start writing emails, and I was like, I'm not writing emails, no one will fucking listen. And like now I've got whatever, it doesn't matter about numbers, but I've got like a high subscribing, and you pushed me to do that. The podcast, you pushed me to do that.
Yeah.
You've kind of like pushed me to give less fuck.
Pay me.
Fuck off. You push me to give less fucks. How do you, on a day to day, give less fucks about what people think and have to say about you? Because I think that's one of the biggest things that people fear, and why people don't do the shit they want to do, because they're like, oh my god, this person will think this,
How
and
to care less
yeah, like
about what people
why do you
say.
not? Because you don't. So, and
I
neither do
don't
I
give a fuck.
now.
No.
So why is that,
I
and
just
how?
think to myself, do I want to miss out on something because I was worried what fucking Janet in year four thought of me, or fucking, do you know what I mean? Like,
Mm,
you're literally stopping yourself from doing shit, really cool shit. And people are going to fucking laugh at you. But I can guarantee you now, people will laugh at me for being an online coach right now, but people would also laugh at me for turning up to my recruitment job. Like,
yeah,
this is the fucking real world. People are gonna judge you no matter
no
what
matter
you
what.
do. Other people are gonna fucking hate you, and that is absolutely fine because I don't give a fuck about those people. Do you think I'm gonna have anyone in my close circle that I've like that I don't value their opinion? Do you know what I mean? So the people's opinions that are you're worrying about, like it's like, say for example, Instagram, people buzz off how many likes they get on a picture.
Mm,
If let's say you get like 200 likes on a picture or something, yeah,
yeah,
I couldn't even tell you 200 people that I know.
yeah.
So do you know what I mean? So why are you looking to get 200 likes when you don't even know the fucking people? Like, what does that do? Like, for me, it's just like, I know I've got good people around me. The people that are not around me, don't get me wrong, I don't walk around like you're a dickhead, fuck off, fuck off. But it's like, you can say whatever you want about me, like whatever. You obviously don't know the real me, and
Hmm.
I don't particularly want to get to know you. Like, I just think,
Do you think it comes down to that,
unfortunately,
knowing yourself, like when you know yourself fully and you obviously build that confidence from the inside out, like we talked about earlier? Do you think that helps giving less fucks? Because no matter what anyone says, you're like, well, I know myself. So
I think that this is honest why I think I don't give a fuck,
go on.
and this is I'm an only child, and I was lucky to go on loads of holidays when I was younger.
Mm,
So every single holiday, my mum and dad would just be laying on the sunbed, and they'd be like, "All right, go on, fuck off, go make some mates." So I'd have to go over to like a group of kids,
yeah.
yeah, and like introduce myself, feel a bit like nervous, anxious, all that, but I couldn't give a fuck what they thought about me coming over, and thought, "Oh, who's this little weirdo
Yeah.
coming over?" Do you know what I mean? I just had to be like, "This is happening." So I think that
I,
that made me like overcome. Yeah, exactly. Like, because if I didn't, then I realised, well, my holiday's going to be a lot shitter because my mum and dad ain't going to play with me 24/7. Whereas if there's kids, they will.
yeah.
Yeah. So it's like you have to sacrifice feeling like a bit of a fucking knobhead for a bit. Even when I started posting content, the first 3 months, I hated it. I was so nervous because I was like, people are going to judge me. Yeah. And I say to this day, the first time I posted fitness content when I hated absolutely every moment of it, that's still the most valuable bit of
Best
content I've ever
so.
put out. Yeah. So I just think understand that everything is a trade. So if you're worried about what someone thinks of you, you're trading their thoughts for something that you potentially want. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. It's like
Yes.
when people want to start, I've got clients who want to start their own businesses or even fucking go for a swim in the ocean, but they're too scared about what people will think about the way they look or whatever. And it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
you love swimming in the ocean. So why are you trading that little
But
snippet of joy for what
but I
fucking
think
someone?
that like I'm sorry, but if you go down to, I can't go down to the beach at a minute because I'm in the UK. But if you was to go down the beach tomorrow, I guarantee you, by the time you got back to your flat, you couldn't tell me 10 people that you see down the beach.
Yeah. Well, maybe Bondi, but
What
yeah.
think I understand. I understand that people do feel insecure about their bodies, yeah. But the reality is, everyone has their own shit going on in their own head,
Yeah,
and you are
they're
not
too
in that.
bothered about,
You're not
yeah.
that. Yeah, you're not that important to them. I'm sorry, but you're not. Do you know what I mean? And that for me is like you could, I don't know, someone could piss you off in the day, and you'd be like, oh, he's a dickhead. But by the evening, you've forgotten about it. So, like, I don't know. I just think you're not as important as you think you are. So just fucking do whatever you want to do. And sometimes you will piss people off. I know I've pissed a lot of people off in my time, but I'm happy. You know what I
I was
mean?
actually gonna, you know what I was gonna touch on and tell him to shut up. In fact, don't tell him to shut up because I want to know how you felt about it. I'm not gonna say the name, but a certain PT coach absolutely
Oh
throwing you
yeah.
under, absolutely throwing you under the bus because I personally thought it was out of order and it made me
I
angry
think it's
inside.
mint. I think it's mint. You
Okay,
got to think about this, yeah.
it made me
I'm
angry.
I'm 3 years. I'm 3 years into this fitness journey.
Mm.
Yeah. 3 years ago, you're telling me one of the most well-known online PTs in the world is going to be throwing me under a bus. My name's
It's
going
the
to be
same
coming
as
out of his
Ryan.
mouth.
It's the same as Ryan, isn't it? With that, with the yeah. I
Exactly.
suppose
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
a
yeah,
good
yeah.
thing. It's an unreal thing.
I,
Yeah.
I just think, thank you very much, and fucking watch it keep coming. Trust me.
Yes.
Like, you ain't gonna tell me a time when you never ever put anyone down that you're not worried about. That's what I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Because if you,
carry
yeah,
on,
I love it.
carry on.
Right. I've
Easy
got to wrap
white
it up.
chocolate. I wouldn't want you to melt, dickhead.
Oh my God. Right. I've got to wrap it up just because I've got a little pooch coming. So, closing tradition, rosebud and a thorn. A rose is something that you're extremely happy with right now in life. A
Yeah.
bud, a bud is what you're currently working on. So something that you weren't
Hmm.
best pleased with, but you striving to work on it. Or not even not best pleased with, it's just something that you really focused on working on. And then your thorn is something that you want to admit to yourself or to whatever that proves how proudly imperfect you are, something that shows how much of a hot mess you are, something that you're not that happy with at the moment.
So the rose is something that's going really well, is it?
Yeah.
I would like to say life because obviously my life got
Oh.
flipped upside down.
All
Like
right, Will
if you had
Smith.
said to me, yeah, I know, yeah, Fresh Prince things. No, but like if you had said to me, "Oh, you're going to get banned from Oz for 3 years, and then
Mm,
you're going to feel how you do right now," I'd have been like, "Shut up!"
shut
Like
up.
literally. But I'm just that's what I'd say the rose is. I had a fear of leaving Australia because that's where everything
Was.
started to
Yeah.
compound for me. Yeah, like life, mental health, business, whatever. And I was so scared that that would all fall apart. So the rose is that I know I can do anything, anywhere, and be okay, which is great. The bud is, I'd say I've done a lot of internal work on the love life, and
Okay.
that is coming out. And I feel like I am being not the boyfriend because she's not my girlfriend yet, but I'm just being the person that I want to be for her, which is mint. And then the fawn
Yay.
is, um, I would say the fawn is I'm launching the biggest program of my life next month, and I am absolutely shitting it thinking that my business is going to implode. But then also, I'll just build another one. So yeah, you know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
that's where the headspace is at the moment. So yeah, that's the three things. I hope that's a good example.
No, yeah, it was unreal. Honestly, I've loved this little catch up. Can we just do this every month so we can catch up? But
Yeah,
I
hundred
miss you.
percent.
I do miss you. And honestly, I'm so
That
happy
makes
for
one of
you.
us.
Fuck off, you miss me.
I'm joking. I do miss
You
you.
miss me.
Yeah, I do. I'm sorry.
But no, I've loved this. And yeah, no, I am really happy for you because you do seem very, very happy. And you'll have I've got to go soon, but you'll have to text me and tell me all about your new bird.
All right, I will. I will. I will. I will. Yeah, I will. I
Right,
will.
say bye to everyone. Thanks for listening, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't
Yeah.
forget
Thanks for
to
having me.
subscribe.
Am I plugging? No, am I
Yeah.
plugging? No,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
just gonna
Tell
kick me off.
everyone where they can
Yeah.
find you.
At Nathan Joseph PT, and the Nathan Joseph podcast for probably not as good a podcast as this, but close to. I'll give you that already. Do you know what I mean? Just got to
And
be
what
kind.
about if there is any PTs listening? Where can they find
Yeah, if
your?
you're a personal trainer, you're gonna honestly blow your business up, be earning 10K a month, easy, have location, time freedom, and I'm basically going to show you how to live my life. Not that you'd want my life, but live a similar life to me, anywhere in the world. And you can find that on at Nathan Joseph Coach. Bosh. One last bosh.
Bosh. Amazing.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
See you later. Love you. Bye bye.
Oh my God.